Hello, I welcome you to my channel. I will discuss important books for compulsory papers for CSS examination. Selection of books is an important issue. CSS is of course one of the most challenging exams in Pakistan. An overwhelming majority of the candidates fail in this exam. As you know, from 96 to 97% students fail in this examination. So there must be some strong reasons. Two of these reasons are subject selection and book selection. One of the major reasons of failure in this exam is lack of proper guidance. From subject selection to book selection, students face a lot of problems. And if you add problems in English, then these are the three reasons or causes of failure of students in CSS. The first I would consider English, the second subject selection, and the third book selection. Whereas the issue of subject selection gets easily resolved, the issue of selection of books for CSS keeps pestering them till the very end of exam. It is the selection of books that makes a big difference in the end. So the selection of good books for written exam also helps in the preparation of interview. Books for CSS compulsory papers. I would suggest two-step strategy. Step 1, select one or two books which cover the course contents and past papers properly. First, go through these books and prepare them properly from cover to cover and don't leave out any part. Second step is even more important. Study some good genuine books that cover the subject in a broader and general perspective and give you deeper knowledge about it. This wider perspective will help you in critical analysis of the questions and build sound argument in your answers. So this step 2 will create the quality difference between you and the rest of the students. This step 2, which is this step, the selection of some good general books, they will get you through the examination because majority of the students they fulfill this requirement that they do go through one or two major basic books that cover the contents and that are easily available in the market, and most of the students study those books. But the students who actually score big and get high marks are those students who have a broader and general understanding of the subject as well, and they are not put off by the questions that are set in the examination. So this is where students generally lack and why they score low even if they clear written exam. So this step 2 is key, but this is important that first you should cover the contents and past papers. Then you should go for one or two important books on the subject that you are preparing. English Precis and Composition. Writing correct English is very important. Majority of students fail in CSS because of poor English language skills. And if you go for FPSC reports that are available on the FPSC website, these reports highlight many glaring mistakes in the writings of the students. Some of these reports just that students even lack basic grammar skill. They write incorrect English, they write poor spelling, they have poor vocabulary, and they don't know how to build an argument, and all these problems which are generally very basic. And students must overcome these problems before appearing in the examination. Students face problems in writing correct English And that is actually the most important cause of students' failure in CSS. And if you want to write correct English, you must practice the major grammar rules and structures thoroughly. Now I come to the books. First, Practical English Grammar by Thompson and Martinent. I won't suggest going for the rules book. I would suggest exercise book 1 and book 2. And then I would suggest certain grammatical structures that you need to focus on. For example, you must cover the tenses part, followed by conditional sentences, followed by infinitive, participle, gerund, and then subjunctive case. These are the exercises that you must cover. And then you must also focus on reported speech exercises that are there at the end of both books. First, go for the book 1 and then go for the book 2. I assure you that if you solve or attempt 7 to 8 major exercises from these books, you will find yourself a different person and you will have corrected many of your grammatical mistakes if you do all these exercises. High School Grammar by Wren and Martin. You should not be put off by this word high school because this grammar is of actually very high level. And if you practice some important exercises from this book, you can master all the major rules of grammar and you can also improve your written expression, especially for the question on correction. This book can be very helpful. Precis. Precis is generally the weak point of our students, and one of the reasons is that our academic system does not impart writing skill to our students. Our students, they lack this skill and they don't know even the basics, the fundamentals of Precis writing, like uh, which tense should be used, should Precis be in third person, or what should be the proper length of the Precis. And most importantly, students generally don't know that Precis writing is actually about identifying the theme and central idea or the main argument or arguments in the paragraph. The examiners want to know whether or not you have understood the theme of the paragraph. And this is the one aspect which even teachers don't focus. Next are idioms. Past papers are enough. For GRE, you can download 1000 words list, and that is enough. Translation is important, and I would recommend Urdu newspaper editorial first sentences daily, and for rules, Imtiazi translation, or any intermediate or graduation level book that has a chapter on translation, because rules are very important. And then, of course, past papers. Whether you practice Precis, correction, punctuation, or vocabulary, translation, whatever, okay, you must solve past papers at least 7 to 8. Next is essay. Essay is the problem, and the problem is of two types. The first problem is, of course, is English language. The second problem is that our students, they are not aware of the mechanics and dynamics of writing. They don't know how to develop a good paragraph. They cannot write a good introductory paragraph. They don't know how to write the topic sentence and how to match that topic sentence with the thesis statement and how to develop a link between topic sentence and thesis statement, and then how to write even concluding paragraph. And another aspect, that they generally don't know how to develop an argument. In CSS, majority of the topics that are set in the paper, they require critical analysis. The essays are generally of argument type, argumentative essays that require critical analysis, sometimes involving comparison and contrast as well. These two books that I am suggesting here, academic writing sentence to paragraph and academic writing paragraph to essay, they are very, very important. They impart all the basic writing skills from step from first step to the last step, from sentence writing to essay writing, developing paragraphs, types of paragraphs, and then types of essays, and then exercises on topic sentence, thesis statement, all these things. Our students, they generally go for the product and not for the process. Essay writing is not a product, it is a process. You must follow all the steps that are there in essay writing. Then I would suggest some general books, because content is also important, logic is also important. These three books, Rethinking Pakistan, edited by Raza Rumi, Economy of Pakistan, written by Akbar Hazreti, and Pakistan Beyond Crisis State by Dr. Maliha Lodhi, they can be very helpful. And these books will help you in Pak affairs and current affairs as well. Pakistan affairs. Now there are two major areas. One is 1857 to 1947, and we get some excellent books and a large number of books that cover this time period. But we get very few good books that cover post-partition era properly. So you will have to decide very carefully what you study and what are your needs and how can you manage all different areas that are very essential for covering this paper. And you are not supposed to go through all these books. There are some repetition as well here, but I would suggest that if you are studying some other books, they are fine. Okay, I don't say that these are the only books that you should study. No, there are so many other books, and I did not want to mention all of them. I just wanted to give some very practical books, from very practical or pragmatic type of books. Towards Pakistan, a concise history of Pakistan. These two books, they are very important because Raza Kazmi's book covers post-partition era as well. And then this book, Pakistan and World Affairs by Dr. Shamshad. Now these are essential readings and these are general readings. Rethinking Pakistan. I would recommend Economy of Pakistan as vital for clearing CSS, both written and interview parts, because This book, though the title is only Economy of Pakistan, it covers education system, health system, agriculture, industry, and then it covers all the plans and all the reforms. So in this way, it gives you a very strong foundation to develop your arguments in these areas. Pakistan Beyond Crisis State by Maliha Lodhi, though it is bit old book, yet it is still very relevant. Okay. And if there is one takeaway from this discussion on books, this is Constitutional Development in Pakistan, G.W. Chaudhary. Whether you are preparing for political science or some other constitution related paper, this book is indispensable. For all of our 4 5 constitutions and all the constitutional problems, separation of Bangladesh, Islamization, all these things, you get a logical development of all the arguments that culminated in the present shape of the constitution. And as you know that 18th amendment has become a vital issue in Pakistan today, you can never understand the significance and relevance of 18th amendment without studying G.W. Chaudhary's book Constitutional Development in Pakistan. Current affairs, of course, very crucial, very important, and the whole scenario has changed recently. COVID has changed everything. Then India-China conflict that has changed everything. Then the globalization, all these things, a peace in Afghanistan, the new Cold War, all these things. So we are actually in an era where all the international issues are in flux. Okay, so you must study these things thoroughly. Foreign Policy of Pakistan by Abdustar, an absolute must. And I would recommend Dr. Safdar Mahmood's International Affairs as a reference book. Suppose you want to prepare Kashmir issue, you must study Kashmir issue from Dr. Safdar Mahmood's book in order to grasp the background of the issue. And it covers a large number of issues as well. And this is very important. Whenever you start studying any international issue, you must consult Dr. Safdar Mahmood's International Affairs. Then Contemporary Affairs by Imtiaz Shahid. And you should buy this November or December edition or the last edition before the examination. This will help you in essay, in Pak affairs, in current affairs, in IR, in Indo-Pak history, and maybe in political science as well. So this is a very practical approach actually. Develop a sound understanding of Pakistan's foreign policy and understanding through Adastar. And then if you want to have some background information or knowledge, go for Dr. Safdar Mahmood. And for the latest take on these issues, go for Contemporary Affairs by Imtiaz Shahid of November or December. Then there are some very important online resources as well that you must not miss. First is foreign policy, and then there is another important source, current affairs. It is also an American website. It covers all the important issues. It is actually foreign current affairs. Then there is CFR, Council for Foreign Relations. For Pakistan, for issues from Pakistan's perspective, you should consult the criterion quarterly. And for any topic, general topic, you must not miss TED Talks. You must listen their lectures, watch their videos for discussion on all the important topics. Islamiyat, Islami Nazariya Hayat by Professor Khurshid Ahmed. If you want to appear in Urdu, and then if you want to appear in English, this is our latest book by Javed Ghamdi. Then Islamic Studies by Hafiz Karimdad is also a good book. Introduction to Islam by Hamidullah. Meaning and Message of Islam by Professor Khurshid. Islam and West by Asadullah. And I would also like to address the question whether one should appear in English or Islamiyat or Urdu in Islamiyat paper. The thing is that if you appeared in Islamiyat in Urdu in your previous education, then go for Urdu. But if your medium was English, then go for English. It does not make much difference. It's the preparation in the end that makes the difference. And for Urdu by Professor Khurshid Ahmed, and then you can go for Hafiz Karimdad's book as well. Everyday Science and General Ability. These two books, they are very vital. Everyday Science by Mia Shafiq and Everyday Science by Dr. Akram Kashmiri. And if you don't have background in science or you are arts or social sciences student, you can consult Exploring Science as well. In the end, I would like to recommend some general books. End of History by Francis Fukuyama. Clash of Civilizations and Remaking of World Order by Samuel Huntington. And 21 Lessons for 21st Century by Yuval Noah Harari. So these books are just suggestions, okay? You should do your own proper homework and then select these books. Thank you very much.